So political, when you have to say no to 9 and only yes to one person, that's always a politician, a governor's nightmare, right? See, if you could say yes to Ted, everybody's happy. If you
say yes to 8, I know, it's a nightmare.
And then you're going to do this with Intel and other big ones.
All the big ones are, looking at it, and we're going to take them as they come.
And you're going to look at what the places with the most economic, places where it has the greatest impact on economic growth in the country, where you can train new people.
Exactly.
These are all the value added.
National security, jobs created, and evaluate each company on its own.
And with Ukraine and Taiwan, this is on.
It's a hot topic.
Yeah. Thank you.
Plans to come online after 2030, and we're saying no for now to those projects because we want to maximize our impact in this decade. It's not responsible to give money to a project that'll come online, 10 or 12 years from now, if it means saying no to excellent projects that could come online this year. This is tough stuff. None of this work is easy. A lot of people say, oh, Secretary, this is risky, picking companies, picking, winners and losers. Yes, of course there's risk. But I'll tell you this, there's way more risk in doing nothing. We were headed down a path of much greater national security risk before President Biden had the courage to fight for these investments as part of his overall Investing in America agenda. We cannot allow ourselves to be overly reliant on one part of the world for the most important piece of hardware in the 21st century. That's way riskier. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. Last year, I said the goal of when we're all said and done with this CHIPS initiative is to have at least 2 new large-scale clusters of leading-edge logic fabs. Each of those clusters employing thousands of workers. I'm pleased to tell you today, we expect to exceed that target. Now that we've seen the applications, the way industry's responded, I think we're going to do better than what we told you we would do a year ago. We think our investments in leading-edge logic chips, leading-edge logic chip manufacturing, will put this country on track to produce roughly 20% of the world's leading-edge logic chips by the end of the decade. That was a big deal. Why is that a big deal? Because, folks, today we're at 0. Today we're at 0. So a year ago, before we saw the applications, I didn't know exactly what we were thinking. We said we want at least 2 ecosystems. And today I'm confidently standing before you to say by the end of the decade, we're going to go from 0 to 20% of leading edge built in the United States of America. And supply chains will also come along with that. Supply chains can no longer be as vulnerable to geopolitical challenges as they are today. We also believe we will be successful in having leading-edge memory, which is also a critical input for AI systems, right here in the United States. Excuse me. Onshoring, this is important, cost-competitive, leading-edge memory at scale, right here in the United States of America. In fact, I also think, and I feel more certain of this every day as we work with industry and look at the 600 proposals. In addition to those goals I laid out, I'm confident the United States can become the home to the entire silicon supply chain for the production of these leading edge chips. From polysilicon production to wafer manufacturing to fabrication to advanced packaging. That's the game, by the way. When I say let's be bold, this is not build a few new fabs and call it a day. No, soup to nuts. Polysilicon to advanced packaging, everything in between, including R&D in the United States. And to those of you now with the bubble over your head saying, Secretary, what about mature node? We're on that too. We're not losing sight of the importance of current generation and mature node chips, which you all know are essential for cars, medical devices, defense systems, and critical infrastructure. Just think back to a minute ago of the pandemic. We were furloughing tens of thousands of workers from car companies for lack of a single legacy chip. We have got to improve the fragility of that supply chain. And we will do that. Already, to date, we've made 3 announcements of investments in current and mature chip companies, BAE, Microchip, and Global Foundries. Not quite $2 billion, over $1.5 billion. And we're going to continue to announce additional investments in current mature production to make sure we have a domestic supply of these critical chips. So I'll end with this. If